Hello and welcome to this video from We Love Stoke Lodge. We're going to offer you two alternative visions for the future. First, what Cottam School's proposal to fence in Stoke Lodge looks like, and second, proposals put forward by We Love Stoke Lodge to achieve a workable compromise that recognises the status of Stoke Lodge as both playing fields and important open space for community use, as it has been for many decades. This is their proposed fence plan, with the playing field area inside the fence in light green and the darker green area being what they refer to as a generous perimeter walkway. We've taken a closer look at that, and here's what we found. First of all, if you take their outlined area and drop it onto a satellite map, you'll find that the generous perimeter walkway is mostly outside the school's leased area. The yellow line here is the proposed fence, the white line is the outside edge of the proposed pathway, and we've also added a red line showing the actual leased area. So, all along the northern edge, that's not a walkway within Stoke Lodge, it's Ebenezer Lane, which is a public footpath. And on the eastern edge, that's not a pathway along the field, you'd be walking on the track between the bushes at the edge of Shirehampton Road. Then at this corner, we appear to enter the playing fields through what is currently a tricky, informal entrance and very steep. So even if it's improved, it's unlikely to be accessible to anyone with mobility issues. Here there is a bit of walkway within Stoke Lodge, quite tight between the trees and the proposed fence, until you get to the Arboretum. You may now continue your walk through the car park. You can't go around the back of the house, and then you go past the play park on the roadside to join up with the only other bit of land the school is providing as a walkway. So when they say generous perimeter walkway accessible at all times, remember that's mostly not around the fields, and where it is, a lot of it will be a narrow, unlit corridor which will get very overgrown unless it's well maintained. Next you can see how the fence line cuts through swathes of protected trees that didn't appear on the school's map. This is the Bristol Tree of the Year, but it won't be for much longer if this fence severs its roots. Here the fence line is actually over the lease line and annexing council property, apparently to stop anyone getting into the play park this way. Many protected trees are at risk here, as well as our wildlife, including protected species. This is a huge loss to anyone who has enjoyed strolling through the beautiful trees and grounds of this historic estate, or using them as part of a course at the Adult Learning Centre. But, says the school, the public is welcome to come inside the fence whenever it's not in use by schools and clubs. This letter from the head, dated the 7th of December, states clearly that a single gate will be left open. The thing is, the only gates marked on the plan it published in May are this pedestrian entrance and this maintenance gate, although that's outside the school's lease and normally kept locked. So it's not even clear how an ambulance is supposed to get onto the site to look after someone with a sports injury. So we assume that this is the gate that will be left open when the facilities are not in use. But it doesn't really matter because here's the school's premises management plan, and they are looking to hire it out from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. on weekdays and 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. at weekends all year round. So even if just one pitch is in use at this end, potentially the whole of the rest of the site is locked off from the community. And the school has made clear it will lock the gates overnight, and I think it might be optimistic to assume that they will come early in the morning to allow the community some use of the space before bookings start. Booking data shows that the school only uses grass pitches on about 50% of the days it uses Coombe Dingle. So who will unlock the gate on the other 50% of days or during the holidays? Even when this gate is open, to get from here to the Tree of the Year, say, you would have to do this. And many members of the community can't do that. This is not all existing rights and use, including use by the community, which is what the school signed up for. There is a valid concern that community access will be theoretical only, rather than the land really being shared in practice. And if that wasn't enough, since the school has an indemnity in its lease, it will still expect the council, or rather us, Bristol taxpayers, to pay for the upkeep of the boundaries and for all the damage they do to the protected trees by installing this fence that no one else wants or thinks is necessary. And don't forget that there are applications waiting for public rights of way, so what a waste to put up a fence now and have to take it down or move it later. So, here's an alternative vision. We've been trying to talk to the school about this and governors have flatly refused. But this is what sense not fence looks like. Experts in risk management try to keep risks as low as reasonably practicable, but not necessarily to eliminate them. And if you look at the school's individual identified risks, we think smarter solutions are available than a fence, with significant community support and at lower overall cost. First, the school is worried about students absconding. So let's make the boundaries more secure with barrier hedging rather than a fence. Information recently obtained from the university reveals that they proposed this over a decade ago in relation to the Ebenezer Lane boundary, and we agree. By plugging the gaps and removing the ability to hop over low walls, you make the whole site more secure. That leaves you with fewer entry points to monitor, and we've suggested formalising these with wheelchair and buggy accessible gates. We have always agreed that dogs need to be kept off pitches, but plenty of sites manage this with a simple request to keep to the perimeter, or with spectator fencing around the pitch. Here's an even smarter idea which we would happily make grant applications to fund for the benefit of all users: a daily mile track. The lease perimeter within the field, and including this loop, is about a mile long. If there was a track for community users to keep to while the school is on site, policed by the community, that's likely to be all that's needed, and as a bonus it would also be useful for students warming up for sports. We've also proposed a charter with strong backing from the community: dogs to be kept off pitch areas at all times, dogs on leads and kept to the perimeter when the pitches are in use, and of course always pick up after your dog. Similar conditions appear elsewhere. Here's a Welsh example with red for no dog areas, but you see there are also areas of green. There are other things the school could do as well. For example, picket fencing at the edge of the arboretum to define that border more clearly, and it wouldn't be the first time there's been low fencing in that area. Removable sports fencing could be put across the narrow middle area so that staff only have to monitor the part of the field they're actually using at the time, upper or lower. Now this could all work and would keep Cottam students just as safe as they have been for nearly 20 years using the grass pitches at Coombe Dingle. Access in and out of Coombe Dingle is very easy, including by car, and the main gates are left open. Residential houses back onto the field, just like they do at Stoke Lodge. It still makes no sense to us to say that Cottam students are safe at Coombe Dingle, but exposed to intolerable risk 500 yards away in similar conditions. We think our sense not fence proposals will mitigate the risks perceived by the school, allow the students to play sport in these beautiful surroundings, and achieve a fair result for all on this shared and much loved historic green space. That's important to a wide range of users, young and old, able and not so able, formal sports users and informal recreationers. This genuinely is the last accessible green space for many local people. We want Cottam students to come and enjoy sports here, but we don't want to be fenced out of the heart of our community.